welcome back to Bailiwick Guernsey Shipwrecks. I'm JP Fallais and this is the channel where we take you out diving and you don't have to get wet or cold, so you're a winner, not sure about me. So today we're going to go diving and we're going to probably go look for some cannonballs or do something like that, or maybe just scalloping. We'll see what it's like when we get out there. So we've come out the harbour and we've taken a left and we're going to go up north, up this way. So this is where the cannonballs are. Well, some of the cannonballs. They're all the way down this coast. It's a little bit choppy. It's not too bad though. Today we're with Matt and Richie Keane. So why are there cannonballs out here on the seabed, all along here, all the way down the east coast? Why are there cannonballs? Well, they've been there for a few years now, and we used to have fortifications against the French, which this one was built for. This is when the Americans become allied with the French, Brehon Tower. Well, there's loads of forts all the way along this east coast, obviously to protect the harbour, which you do. You want to protect the harbour. So we got a 12th century castle, Castle Cornet, built on a rock called Cornet, and also smaller fortifications all the way down this coast. So we got Salary, we got this one, you can just about see it, Hugger-le-Pere, and there's a load more along the coast, all the way along there. Long Hoog, which is down here, and then Vale Castle, which is down here. But Vale Castle wasn't really used that much, to be honest. But what they used to do is they used to fire cannonballs out to floating targets on the sea, and they used to have our militia, which used to run the guns out and practice. But also there was other things they used to fire shot for, like 21 gun salute, and also a salute for whenever the governor left the island. So we know one of the spots they used to practice on is out here, not so much near Refe, but near the Foukies, which is there's another pole a bit further down. Some of them overshot the mark, and they're all different, varying sizes. So we're going to go and see if we can find some. We'll quick have a look at what happened in Guernsey at the time. So there's plenty of stuff to read up about on this. The little image at the bottom shows the 1,000 yard marker, which is roughly where we're diving. But it used to be able to fire a lot further. The 24 pounders managed to Brehon, so one landing to the south and then one landing to the north, and then also one that was fired towards Crevachon, which is a small island north of Jetu. The distance is about 3,600 yards. Was quite a bit short of Crevachon because that is well over 6,000 yards, and I know they didn't fire that far. 1849. The militia artillery was this morning occupied in shot practice from the 24-pound battery at Hugger-le-Pere. A floating target about 1,200 yard range was the object aimed at. 80 shots were fired, and the practice was marked by the greatest of success. Several regiments of infantry military assembled for exercise on their respective parade grounds in the forenoon of today. 3 batteries of the artillery were target practice with 24 pounders at Hugger-le-Pere. 40 rounds were fired at a target placed on a rock 1,200 or 1,400 yards distance from the fortification, and the aim of the guns appeared to be excellent. There wasn't just the firing out to sea. We'll also see it here down at Lancrest Common on a 1,000 yard marker. 120 shots fired with 17 hits. Pretty accurate. Didn't always go well. Here you can see several of the shells burst shortly after emerging from the gun barrel. Looks like this target was mid-Russell at a range of 1600 yards. With it being so far away, them not knowing whether they had hits or not. July 1860, again at Hooger-Le-Pere battery. The firing was very good, especially that of number 2 battery on the latter day, whose practice with shell, that should say the boxers, was most excellent. Nothing could have exceeded it. The battery fired 10 rounds per gun and struck the target every time. Again, just trying to get a flavour of how many shots were fired into the sea. Here you can see at Fort Clarence yesterday afternoon 50 rounds of shells and 20 of hollow shot had been prepared for the use of the battery. But it happened that the target, which had been placed to the eastward, broke adrift and went to sea. Instead of the anticipated practice, therefore the gunners had drills with the 32 pounders. So here you can see as well, they're using Clarence battery and firing out to the east. This is probably why there's so many of the Cannonballs out on the Great Bank. Again here, so between Hooger-Le-Pere and Clarence battery, we see for the first time, probably since the creation of the corps, a battery of Royal Guernsey Militia Artillery did their duty at Castle Cornet on the upper bastion. They were firing 32 pound shots and shell at a floating target to the eastward. Again, a load more cannonballs going into the sea. Inevitably there were injuries and accidents, and here we can say a 68 pounder which burst some time ago during a practice at the Clarence battery. Been put on board an ordnance cutter now and it was heading back to Woolwich in London, and here we can see the 19th century of their outdoor yard storage of the guns and the shot. 68 pounders are used massively on the south coast of the UK. It sounds like everyone was quite lucky on this one, but it wasn't a thing that normally happened, and it says as soon as the lanyard was pulled the explosion took place and the after part of the breech was blown up into the air and perpendicular and fell over the battery. Basically destroyed the carriage and threw it down onto the lower parts of the battery. The only conclusion that they arrived at was the fact that it was cast in 1843 and fired about 40 times before it burst in 1860. So we've done a little bit of research about the Cannonballs and where we are likely to find them, and let's get down here and have a little look. Visibility isn't amazing today, a little bit dusty, but we can certainly work with this. We might need our lights on. We are slowly heading in a northerly direction, only about half a knot of tide, and the seabed around here is small reefs, no higher than a couple of metres high, plenty of mill beds and some wavy sand. With the seaweed starting to die off now, we should be in for a little bit of a chance of finding a cannonball. Certainly found the gobies. It's amazing when you stop and stay still the amount of sea life you actually start noticing rather than speeding past. I'm not here to look at them, so we better carry on. Just as I went to turn around there, I felt something touch my knee. It's this huge cuttlefish. This is massive. They only grow 1 or 2 years old, and they've become mature for breeding. Oh, that's another master of disguise. Nice.
That is absolutely lucky.
It's not taking its eyes off me for 1 minute. Amazing thing is it can actually see behind it. It can see so well in low lights and can also detect polarised light, because these things can't see in colour. It amazes me they can't see in colour, as they can blend into the seabed almost perfectly. Let's continue on. As you can see, my bag floats slightly when there's no scallops in, so let's just get that scallop in the bottom of it, try and weigh it down a little bit. And let's try and find some more to weigh it down a bit more.
Okay.
The seabed around here is absolutely filled with cockles and clams of all different types. See one here to the left, just hinged, probably been eaten by a starfish. There's actually two here. This one looks big enough. There's also one underneath, a bit too small. Plenty of these round sort of burrows, as you see here. It's been dug out and the stone that's darker that's underneath has been pushed to the surface. I'm not quite sure what's made them. Plenty of modern debris. As I said before, these things get repurposed into little houses for fish. A little bit of shelter, so I tend to leave it there.
One left.
Got a little bit of hassle trying to film. As you can see, the dust now is going to my left, which is actually north. Not too much tide, but what's happening here is it's rough on the surface, quite windy on the surface, so it's pulling my buff, which in turn is pulling the line from the reel. So I'm trying to hold my camera in my reel hand and trying to pick up the scallops with my right. It's worth noting the bags are never attached to us, so in no way should you attach your bag to your body anyway, because what might happen is a boat could come across the surface and pick up your buff and your rope and actually drag you along the seabed. So it's best if you just hold it in your hand. There you go, it's a perfect example. See that fish just go in this really old bottle? You can just see his head there. See, he's got a black glass bottle there, probably 150, 200 year old bottle he's living in there. So every so often we'll bounce between these little reefs as we make our way up north. I tend to check around these reefs because sometimes this is where you find the cannonballs. Here's an arch nemesis of the scallop. Spiny starfish. The fishermen don't like them either because they go in the crab pots, start causing havoc. But they're all part of the ecosystem, so I'll leave them be. Sometimes you get the feeling you're being watched sometimes, especially on these reefs. I'm not quite sure how you tell the difference between a male and a female. I think this one's male. He's expressing he's got a lot of colours. And the males tend to do this. So there's 100 different species of cuttlefish, ranging from a couple of mil wide to 10 kilos. This one's definitely hunting. He's got 2 of his tentacles up. So they have 8 arms and 2 tentacles. Along with this, they've got 3 hearts. 1 to pump the oxygen around its body, and then 2 to pump the blood through its gills. Take a look at that. It's just changed colour and shape. Pretty cool. All the little chromatophores in it. Like I was saying before, how do they know what colours turn when they can't see colour? Tell you what they do with their W-shaped eyes is they actually change the shape of their eyes to focus. We normally change the pupil of our eyes, the shape of our pupil, to focus in on stuff. They change actually the whole shape of their eye. They're different to squid, where squid's got like a clear plastic tube inside it. These things have got the cuttle bones, so them white things you find on the beach, they use these cuttle bones to regulate their buoyancy. So there's chambers within this cuttle bone they can push gas in or expel gas out. Pretty cool. I'll let him get on with his hunting, because me sitting next to him with the lights on is probably not helping. There's stuff inside. I can see a spider crab. It's got a bit of weed growing onto it. It's probably lost. Check the spinner. The spinner is where the cable ties to. It allows the pot to spin without calling on the rope. So I know it's been lost, so I'm going to open the back door and let the sea life out. There you go, there's my good deed. I've saved a brown crab and also a large male spider crab.
Woohoo!
Forget we're still looking for some cannonballs. Oh, this is a cool little fish. Little baby wrasse. You tell them they do this to you. They sort of put their tail sideways to you. All they're doing is actually showing you that big dot on their back, thinking that if I've got a big eye, I'm going to scare this person. It doesn't really work on humans. I could tell what this is as well. Could tell what it is just by that neck. The lip on it is actually a Benedictine bottle. It's probably thrown over the side of a yacht by a French person. It's a really old type of drink made with spices and all sorts. I suppose I better try and explain what a cannonball looks like under the water. It isn't like a round spherical ball of iron like you would expect, like you'd see on any old image when you type into Google of cannonball. It more looks like a lump of concretion. The only giveaway is the rust that's excreting out through the concretion. Surprised I haven't seen one by now. I know all these stones look like coal around here, but it's not actually coal, it's just a type of rock around this part of the seabed. Come on, it must be a cannonball soon. Hey presto, we have found a cannonball. So, I need to try and get myself in a comfortable position to show you this. So it doesn't really look like what you'd expect. At the moment it looks like just a rock or some sort of boulder just stuck there. But I can tell what it is straight away. To the amateur eye, I know what it is. So I've tried giving it a wiggle. What happens is some of them are that close to the reef, they actually bond themselves to the rocks, and they've actually concreted itself to this outlying piece of rock here. So what we tend to do is we look around, give it another little wiggle, it's not moving whatsoever, pick up some sort of stone or a boulder, and then just give it a little tap. Hey presto, you see the little air bubbles coming out there? Those are actually between the concretion and the actual iron cannonball itself. It stinks out of the water. It's like a little cocoon. Just take off all the bits of cocoon. You actually get loads of horrible black sort of sulphur smell. Just try and chip a bit more off to show you. That's pretty hard. It smashed a rock in half. See, now the tide's picked up a little bit. What we tend to do, this is a Richard Keane taught us how to do this. You just waft your hand alongside, which basically agitates the sand, and you let the tide take the sand away from you. So you can't do this when it's slack water. You need to have a little bit of tide running. Still well and truly stuck to the seabed. I've been 27 minutes. Do I really want to waste my time on this? I'll give it another couple of taps. If it doesn't come, I'm just going to carry on. Nah, if I had a bigger boulder, one whack and it'd probably be loose. But to be honest, I'm not going to collect these anyway. I would have taken it to the surface, given you a show, and probably popped it back over the side again. I've got no use for cannonballs. Just have another little go of wafting it out, get it out of the way. Oh, I've uncovered a bit of a clam. I better chuck that out of the way. That's the thing when you dig around these things. You dig up marine life that's alongside. I don't think I'm going to get this, so I'm not going to waste my time on it. I want to carry on and find some more scallops. Just wait for the sand to clear. I'll give you one last show and then we'll carry on.
Up there.
How long ago was that fired out of a gun? 150, 160, 170, 180 years ago? Pretty cool to think it's been laying there ever since. I'm probably the first person to see that. Well, I'm quite confident I'm the first person to see that, or we're the first people to see that. Yeah, I'll leave it there. If another diver wants it, you can grab it. So I'll just show you the size of it. There you go, compared to my head. It's quite a cool one. Sort of like shot put size. I'd say £16. I'd a guess. Yeah, £16. Probably 5-inch diameter. See you later. Might see you again another day. Always away. Just as you want to go up, you start going onto a nice patch of scallops again. Here's a bottle. Is it an old one? Nope, it's a crown top. Not old at all. Probably a soft drink or aerated water. I'll leave it there for a health. So this is what happens to some of the cuttlefish. They make little holes in the floor. They look like scallops from far away, but when you get closer, you do actually notice it's changing colour, so it can be a scallop. Probably another male again. So these things do all sorts. They ambush, they go out hunting, and they also scavenge as well, so can see loads here. Maybe it's the coalfish that are digging these burrows everywhere. Maybe they're blowing the sand out of the way to try and find stuff that's underneath. $120 bar left, so I'm about halfway through the tank. Probably should head back to the surface because I do want to split this tank, but I want to do a back-to-back dive with a very short surface interval. So loads of burrows around here, absolutely loads. I think it's time to go up. Yeah, it's not one of my glory days. Oh well, that would do. It's actually getting really, really cold now. I can feel it cold right around here, around the front of my face. Still 11 degrees. It's a little bit choppy today, so we're going to be careful getting back on the boat.
That's what they look like if you don't crack them open. It's Matt's. Matt's got one. You can see it there, look. Better not get that black stuff on your hands because it absolutely stinks of sulphur. Matt had 78. 78 decent ones. And I had just check that one. Yeah, that's in. That's in nicely. 18. 18, not bad. Considering I was filming a lot. We're going to get ready to go straight back in here, I think. It looks bad, but it's actually pretty good.
This is alright.
Yeah, the viz is good.
So our dog will be at 30 metres on the wreck.
Yeah, I give that one a miss. Be a bit dark.
Cold in the wheelhouse.
What's that? It's even colder.
Even cold in the wheelhouse. You can warm yourself up by shocking me a dozen scallops.
When we get back.
I'm thinking of putting all that on.
I was double hatted it now.
Put my sparkly one on.
So what we were at 8-minute surface interval.
We got it. Not bad.
A bit dustier this time.
Yeah, it was dustier. Surprise, Matt's beat me again. Surprise, you beat me again. Gonna get these sized. Bit smaller that time. Too small. Yeah. 61. Not bad. What do you have? A 78 and a 61? Yeah. Not bad. 18 and a 24, I think. For one tank. Oh, an extra one. Extra one. Heading home. So what do you think about that dive? Hope you enjoyed it. That's probably my last one for the year. Might go New Year's Eve, but I doubt it. It's cold, not mega cold, 11 degrees, but it's starting to hurt around the face when we go in. We're expecting to go down to about 7 degrees. And then about March time it'll start picking itself back up again and go back up to where we like it. 18 degrees. It only just about gets that hot. So I hope you like that one. Like I say, I hope everyone had a happy Christmas, and I wish everyone a happy New Year, and we'll probably catch you in the new year. So I'll catch you on the next tide.